one tail, two heads. Gives one yang yin line. Three heads. One old yang line, or changing yang. And this is how you would write that. One tail, two heads, one yang yin line, that'll be on our primary hexagram, the bottom trigram of water, but it'll change to mother or earth with our supporting hexagram. One tail, two heads, another yang yin line. Yang yin. 3 yins, old yin line, 3 tails. This is how we would write this hexagram. Yang yin, old yang, yang yin, yang yin, yang yin, old yin. Old yang will transform for our supporting hexagram to yang yin. Old yin will transform with our supporting hexagram to yang yang. Bottom trigram on our first hexagram is going to be Ka'an. And the top is Ka'un, giving us hexagram 7 as our initial hexagram. With supporting hexagram, when the transforming lines transform 2 and 6, 2 and 6. The bottom hexagram will then be kun, and the top trigram is going to be ken, and that will give us our supporting hexagram of 23. We'll be reading primarily from the I-ming, translated by Thomas Clearly, the Taoist I-ming, written in 1796 by the Taoist adept Lu I-ming. Hexagram 7, the army. Using the primordial to repel conditioning, using the real to get rid of the false. The army. Hexagram 7. And hexagram 23 is stripping away. Submission to desire, acquired mundanity dissolving away the celestial energy. Stripping away. Hexagram 7, the army. For the leader of the army to be right, a mature person is good, then there is no error. Explanation. The army is a group. This has the meaning of one person leading a group. The qualities of the hexagram are earth above, submissive, and water below, dangerous. Following obediently in danger, it is therefore called the army. This hexagram represents using yang to drive back yin. It follows on the previous hexagram waiting. Waiting is advancing yang in accord with the time, and advancing yang is the way to drive yin back. The method of repelling yin is to get rid of wrong by means of right, to destroy falsehood by truth, like righteousness in the leader of an army. The leader of the army is the way of punishment and execution. It requires both firmness and flexibility, both humanity and justice, command of authority and ability to change in order to be effective. Otherwise, if one can be firm but not flexible, or if one is only humane and does not know how to apply justice, or if one is only dutiful and does not know how to act humanely, none of this is right, and without correctness, good fortune cannot be attained. Instead, one will provoke censure. Only mature and developed people understand good and bad, distinguish wrong from right, know what bodes well and what bodes ill, perceive when to hurry and when to relax, are not confined to either firmness or flexibility, apply both humanity and justice together, are able to obey in danger and by obedience neutralize danger, use the temporal to restore the primordial, use the primordial to transmute the temporal, not only do not let yin trap yang, but even get all yin to follow yang. This is the path of good fortune without error. If people are immature, their perception of truth is not clear. They do not distinguish wrong from right, and so enter aberrated detours. They set out impulsively and not only are unable to make yin retreat, they even accentuate yin. They are sure to bring they are sure to bring on error. How can they affect good results and achieve the Tao? When people have not yet lost the primordial, this is pure natural reality. It is like when the nation is at peace. Even if there are intelligent knights and good generals, there is no need for them. Then when people get mixed up in acquired conditioning, their senses trouble them and their emotions run wild. It is like when there is trouble in the land, with rebels causing disturbance. If there is no way of rooting them out by punishment and execution, it is impossible to restore peace in perilous times. Therefore, the method of striving in spiritual alchemy is to burn away all the pollution of acquired conditioning, and not let the slightest flaw remain in the heart, so that one may eventually re-experience original completeness. This is why the path of direction is valued. Supporting hexagram stripping away, number 23. That first hexagram gave us a little bit of the broad context. This is a little more specific to our personal situation or what we might find ourselves in. And we'll read the changing lines after that, and that will be even more specific to us. Stripping away does not make it beneficial to go anywhere. Explanation. Stripping away is dissolving. As to the qualities of the hexagram, above is mountain, stopping, below is earth, following. Yin grows as it goes along and yang stops. Furthermore, in the body of the hexagram, there are 5 yins which have dissolved it down to 1 yang. The yang energy is about to be exhausted and the yin energy is about to become pure. Therefore, it is called stripping away. This hexagram represents acquired yin dissolving yang. It follows on the previous hexagram biting through. In biting through, action requires understanding, so we first investigate principle. Investigating principle means investigating the principle of waning and waxing of yin and yang. People are born with 5 elementary combinations of yin and yang from heaven and earth. Once they have life, they have essence. Essence and life reside in one body. When people are first born, essence and life are one. The primordial and the temporal are merged into one. Yin and yang are as yet undivided. Wrong and right are as yet not distinguished. They are the image of wholeness. Then as they grow up and their energy becomes full, the primordial yang culminates and mixes with acquired conditioning. One yin surreptitiously arises. Then as the days and years go by, yin energy gradually grows and yang energy gradually weakens. Until it wanes completely, yang energy does not stop. This is like the body of the hexagram, which 5 yins have stripped down to 1 yang. At this point, yang cannot overcome yin. What remains is very slight yang. If people do not know this and still take the false for the real and go somewhere to do something relying on their strength, they will surely come to the complete exhaustion of yang energy, which is very detrimental. Here, developed people have a way to suppress yin and enhance yang, which does not let yin energy dissolve yang completely away. That is where this one point of yang energy is not exhausted. They accord with it and stabilize it, getting rid of intellectualism, shutting out conditioning influences, and returning to the fundamental original foundation. What does not allow yang to avoid turning to yin is the circulating energy mechanism of heaven and earth. Yet what is able to preserve yang in the midst of yin is the power of the practice of reverse operation of sages. Since sages have a path that is before time and yet not violated by nature, they can use it to usurp creation and turn life and death around. As for ordinary people, they go along with the course of creation, which strips away yang by yin. When yang energy has waned away and become pure yin, how can they not die? At the one hexagram stripping away, the sage has simply said that it is not beneficial to go anywhere. Any who value essence and life would do well to understand this right away. Back to Hexagram 7, the army, to read our changing lines. 2 and 6. With changing lines 2 and 6, the general context that we'll be taking in will be 2 is the heart of the situation, where the heart's perception, the emotional center, where you make and feel connections. And 6 is beyond the main action, reviewing experience, asking what comes next. So the heart's perception, that context for changing line 2. At the center of the army, good fortune, no error. The king gives orders thrice. Explanation. With flexibility in the midst of firmness, in command of both advance and withdrawal, changing effectively according to the time, one is not only not harmed by negative energy, but is also able to transmute all negativities and restore them to their proper place. This is like gaining good fortune at the center of the army and being able to be free from error. This good fortune in the middle of the army relates to the effort of adjustment of the external furnace, and also requires the mind as a leader to be sincere and single-minded, without fragmentation. Only when inside and outside assist each other is it possible to be completely fortunate without error. This is also like a king giving orders thrice. If the king trusts the ministers and the ministers respond to the king, all can accomplish their tasks. So causing yin to retreat requires mutual assistance of inside and outside. And changing line 6. The great leader has orders to establish states and families. Do not employ petty people. Explanation. At the end of direction of the army, acquired energy has all been sublimated. The basis stable. The country peaceful, the mental ruler at peace. There is no more need for punishment and execution. Then, when external ills have been removed and the master sits peacefully in the center, it is possible to discern subtleties, keeping even a single thought of good and getting rid of even a single bad thought, rewarding those of meritorious achievement and chastising those of no merit. This is also like a great leader with orders to establish states and families for which petty people should not be employed. It is necessary to root out the seeds of ages of vicious circles before one is done. This means making negativity withdraw requires inward and outward purity and calm. The 6 lines each have a path of repulsing yin, but they are not equal in terms of bonding good and ill, or ill, of boding good or ill. Let me read that again. The 6 lines each have a path of repulsing yin, but they are not equal in terms of boding good or ill. Only the yang in the second place has both firmness and flexibility, masters authority yet is capable of change, and thereby is able to transmute negativities and not be injured by negativities. Great is the accomplishment of striving. And now from the back, we'll read a little more commentary on Hexagram 7 and 23, keeping in mind that the changing lines are still our most significant pinpoint of where we're at in these changing times. The I Ching could be translated Book of Changes, or standard or rule of changes, or law of changes. So the law of change, this is somewhat like a measurement of change. The army, earth above, water below. There is water in the earth, the army. Thus does the superior person embrace the people and nurture the masses. The army is one leading a multitude. Above is earth, below is water. This is the presence of water in the earth. The earth is broad, water is wet. In the earth there is water. One earth embraces myriad waters. Myriad waters moisten one earth. This is the image of the army. What superior people see in this is that the human body is like a country, and the mind is like the ruler. The vitality, spirit, nature, feeling, and energy in the body are like the people. The benevolence, justice, courtesy, knowledge, and truthfulness in the nature are like the masses. These people, these masses, are the basis of human life and must be protected and cared for. Therefore, the root is stabilized by embracing the people. External afflictions are prevented by nurturing the masses. But it is first necessary to embrace the people in the sense of first mastering oneself inwardly. After that, one nurtures the masses in the sense of managing externally. Inward mastery protects one from externals. Managing externally affords one inner peace. When the inner and the outer balance each other, then everything follows the mind, whether in adversity or comfort. Such is the path of the leader of the army, and such is the path of the superior person embracing and nurturing. Stripping. Mountain above, earth below. Mountains are joined to the earth. Those above secure their homes by kindness to those below. Stripping means removing. Above is mountain, below is earth. Mountains are joined to the earth. Mountains are high, the earth is low. Joining mountains to the earth, the excess of the high is removed and the insufficiency of the low is fulfilled. This is the image of stripping. What those in high positions see in this is that just as mountains cannot be stable unless they are joined to the earth, those in high positions cannot be secure unless they are kind to those below them. Therefore, they take away from the high and give to the low, to enable those below to find their places. This is because the people are the basis of the country. When the basis is secure, the country is at peace. Then those in high positions can also live peacefully in their homes and administer non-coercive government. Among practitioners of the Tao, those with capacity and knowledge are the high ones, and those without capacity or knowledge are the low ones. When those who have capacity do not presume upon it, and those who have knowledge do not depend on it, and they take their excess of capacity and knowledge and pass it on to those lacking in capacity and knowledge, joining the high to the low, being fulfilled but dwelling in emptiness, then elevation is true elevation. Fulfillment is true fulfillment. They transform the artificial into reality, rest in ultimate good unwavering, and abide securely in their homes, invulnerable to external influences. The secure home for humans is benevolence, taking from those above to give to those below. When the inversion is made, stripping changes into return. Having returned, it is possible to rely on benevolence. The mechanism of enlivening operates, and nature and life are secured. In securing their homes by kindness to those below, the celestial mechanism is finally revealed. Wow, there's a lot there. I-ming by Hilary Barrett, Walking Your Path, Creating Your Future. We're going to read her translations of first the Army, Hexagram 7. Key questions. What are you aiming for? How can you get more from your strengths? With all your efforts, are you creating the life you want? Oracle. The Army, with constancy. Mature people, good fortune, no mistake. When there is cause, the ruler raises an army. This is a time when everything revolves around a central objective. Inner and outer resources are realigned and ordered in accordance with it. It's important that a mature leader take responsibility, not least so that intensity of focus does not become blinkered vision, or pure belligerence, turning everything that is not the goal into the enemy. Balancing the drive to get it done with a measured, disciplined approach allows you to achieve your objective effectively and with less collateral damage. Good fortune without mistake. Image. In the center of the earth is a stream, the army. A noble one accepts the people and gathers together crowds. The stream within the earth flows strongly because the earth accepts and absorbs all the water that falls on it. A noble one builds an army with the same open acceptance. You can find your greatest strength in the flow of your whole self, by recruiting all your different character traits and hidden underground emotions. Sequence. The army follows from Hexagram 6, arguing. Arguing naturally means that crowds rise up, and so the army follows. The army means crowds. First you react with indignation against the status quo, then you begin to organize a way to change it. Crowds of people, energies, and resources gather around that original focal point of grievance. The emotions that began as mere reactive indignation become an inner reserve of strength. Pair. The army forms a pair with Hexagram 8, seeking union. Seeking union means delight. The army means grieving. The choices of seeking union are made freely, following natural affinity as the streams flow together over the earth. Those of the army whose work is needed to prepare for seeking union are driven by necessity. The ends must justify the means. When the army marches on its objective, look out for casualties and ruined fields. Hexagram 23, stripping away. Got some of my daughter's art in here. That's a bookmark. That's the Ice King, in case you watch Adventure Time. Hexagram 23, stripping away. Key questions. What has worn out? Is there a less painful way to let this go? What is underneath the surface? Oracle, stripping away. Fruitless to have a direction to go. The surfaces are cut and sliced away. The old and unviable is stripped back to expose the living core. This inevitable, natural process often feels like a flaying. The more you have invested of yourself in these old things, the more painful it will be. It's no good, at such times, to imagine the future and make plans. You need to bring your energy back to the center and honor the process. This is a time to be transformed, not to act. Moreover, until the old is so utterly stripped from you that you have no choice but to think in new ways, you will only be able to recreate the old patterns. Image. Mountain rests on the earth, stripping away. The heights are generous, and there are tranquil homes below. The mountain is continually stripped away through erosion, and the valley below it, enriched with fertile soil, becomes a peaceful place for life and growth. This is a picture of stripping away. At its highest potential, as a constant, gradual, natural, and painless process, everything that is built up, power or achievement or the edifice of self and identity, must continually erode away. It leaves behind an enriched inner world and a quiet sense of being at home here. Sequence. Stripping away follows from Hexagram 22, beauty. Involved in brightening the appearance, this means success will be truly exhausted, and so stripping away follows. Creating a true image and expression of the inner essence is good, necessary work. But when that essence has left, expending more energy trying to prop up the old image is futile and exhausting. Pair. Stripping away forms a pair with Hexagram 24, returning. Stripping away, rotten. Returning, turn around. Dead wood is pruned back with a sharp knife, and sap returns to the living root for new growth. When the old things end, a new direction opens up and a new cycle begins. Now to read our changing lines in the army, Hexagram 7. changing lines 2 and 6. And again, our second changing line, broad context of it will be the heart's perception, the emotional center where you make and feel connections. And when we read line 6, it'll be in the context of beyond the main action, reviewing experience, asking what comes next. So the heart's perception, changing line 2, in the army. Positioned in the center of the army, good fortune, no mistake. The king issues a mandate 3 times. The mature person of the oracle becomes the leader, bringing good fortune, no mistake. He doesn't supervise from a distance. He moves to the front lines, the midst of the action. This means he is in the best possible position to sense what is needed, and this is why the king sends him a mandate or orders. Put yourself in this central position. Consent to the responsibility, and the mandate will come. In a way, it is simply the outward sign of an inner agreement you have already made. The mandate comes not once to this receptive leader, but 3 times. The strategy or the plans may need to change. Don't assume that what you have in mind to do now will be the final word on the matter. This goes beyond your existing knowledge. Line 6. The great leader has a mandate to found a state and receive the households. Don't use small people. The time for fighting is over. Now the army's energies must be redirected into building a new world. A more open time is coming, founded on sincere relationships, and there is a profusion of tasks and challenges, all of them new. The task is no longer to pursue a known objective, but to lay the foundations for unknowable future growth. There's no longer any place for aggressive responses or for people who are reactive and think small. Don't turn to such people. Don't call on your own inner small person. And at random, we will choose a chapter from the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, translated by Jia Fu Fang and Jane English. 49. The sage has no mind of his own. He is aware of the needs of others. I am good to people who are good. I am also good to people who are not good, because virtue is goodness. I have faith in people who are faithful. I also have faith in people who are not faithful, because virtue is faithfulness. The sage is shy and humble. To the world he seems confusing. Men look to him and listen. He behaves like a little child.